Hello everyone, it is Christine here and we are back for our stitch along and we are moving on to stump work. In the book they suggest you draw a round circle. I'd probably say draw an oval in which you're going to create a raspberry, but you can do blackberry. And given I had some of this lovely fabric from some reclaimed curtains, I thought I would use the blueberry to stitch within, and it will kind of give you a sense of what they're talking about in the book, which is shading from light to dark or dark to light across your berry. So in the book they're going dark to light from the bottom to the top. I'm going to be going light to dark across the berry, so I'll work on this berry that's sitting here. I've got my nice big javelin sized needle, and so we'll start off with the lightest colour, and we're going to be working a mix of French knots and colonial knots. Just going to thread. These are all vintage wools, but you could use whatever thread. They're using wools in the book as well. They're using crewel wool in 4 different shades. I've got a few more shades. I can play around a bit more. So I'm just going to get a knot on the end of my wool. Then I'm going to pop through and start off with my French knots. And I'm not going to exactly follow the book, but they're basically, just starting off with 4 French knots in 1/3 of the circle. And as I say, they start at the bottom with the darkest, but I'm starting with a lighter section. I'm just going, and I'm doing double French knots. So I get a nice, I want quite a textural berry, I think. So I'm just scattering some around this section. The French knot, you're just holding onto your thread after you've done your wraps as you pull it through, so you get a nice knot. So yeah, if you haven't done a French knot before, putting the needle on top and then going 1, 2 or however many wraps you want to do, you can just do a single wrap and then anchoring the thread down with your thumb as you pull your needle through and holding it right till the end and then letting it go. And then we'll come through with the same thread and do some colonial knots. So then putting your thread over the needle, wrapping your thread over and under the tip of the needle so you get a figure 8, and then taking your needle back in just slightly over from where you came out. Oops. And holding and pulling through. And then doing another one. Over. And pulling through. Over and holding and pulling through. I'll do another one over here. And pulling through. And so then it says leave that thread dangling and get another colour. Your next, if you're going light, like I am, lightest to darkest, your next darkest colour from the lightest, or your next lightest colour if you're going from the darkest. So you're just going to be graduating. Now this is a variegated one, so I can actually get a nice bluey colour, I think. Probably don't want to go that dark yet. I might even get a grey blue. Yeah, I think that one's going to be good. Try and keep clear of my other threads. I always struggle a little bit with that, but I suppose it doesn't matter if it catches it a little bit on the back. And did I actually tie this one off? No, I didn't before I pulled it through. Let's put a little knot in. We'll hold it. Okay, I'll do some double French knots first. 1, 2. some reason I always default to French knots over colonial knots. I'm not quite sure why. I'm getting a bit of thread catching on the back, but I'm sure it will be fine. Actually, that's just the tail of that one. Can't quite tell now, but it's all right. We'll sort that out later. Sorry, I'll try and stay on camera. I need to work a few more stitches as well down into this lighter coloured section as well, so I'll do a few more knots. Take your pick, French knots or colonial knots or a mix of both. I think I would have been better to end off the wool. In fact, I might even do that because I just think it's getting in the way, so I'm going to disobey the book. Do what works for me. Colonial notch. Oops, sorry, bump the camera. I've got it down quite low so you can see what I'm doing. Do French double notch. And the French knot down here. Sorry, bump the camera again. So I hope you're having a great day or a great evening. Hopefully you're happily stitching away or watching and thinking what you'll be stitching. Or maybe you're just relaxing. Maybe you're working on a different craft, art, creation. Should do colonial notch. Okay, and then maybe I'll put a few more in just up here. I think even this thread is actually variegating in the colorway. I think it started lighter and now it's slightly darker, which is nice. And then I will just end that off because it annoys me having threads on the end that I've got on the back that I've got to dodge. I get a nice little bobbly surface from the threads that are left on the back, so I'll keep that bit over there, and then we might move on to, I've got this one as well. Oops, not that one. This one. Yeah, let's use a bit of this. I can just take a bit off. But yeah, you can use 3 or 4 colours. They're using 4 in the book. Do as you please. So we're just sort of melding the colours so that they naturally move across the berry as though it's being picked up by the light, I guess. Some more French knots interspersed. Do like the double French knots because you get a bit more texture with them. Because you're adding lots of them, you don't have to be terribly precise, and if one's a little bit less tight than the other, it's not going to be the end of the world. And as I've shown you in other videos, you can always anchor one down with an extra little stitch through it if it does end up too bobbly for your liking. So I'll use this to fill in sort of through to the halfway point, but leave a bit of space because we'll then integrate some of our darker ones in as well. So you just want to sort of, as you work your way across the shape, leaving some space where you can integrate the colours together. It's really great having this sort of template to work on because it gives you the sense of where the colour naturally is. But you can always sort of copy that yourself with where I've put the light and the dark, or the light so far, the light and the medium, on your own piece if you want to make a blueberry like this, or you could do a raspberry colouring just with the same sort of graduation of shading as well. Might put a few more in just up here. And then I think we can probably move to our next colour. I'll tie it off at the back because I just don't like the dangling ends. Okay, and then have we used, no, we haven't used this one yet, which is a bit of a thicker wool, but I think it'll be nice. Let's get a bit of this out. Maybe it's not too much thicker, maybe it just looks a bit thicker because it's a bit darker. This one is definitely vintage Penelope Crewel wool, Briggs and Co. Made in Great Britain. There you go. I should have saved that label. I think I've slightly mangled it. Planning to make a vintage sort of haberdashery book at some point. Oh, there's part of the label. Okay. Start to bring in this colour. See, that was a looser knot, so I'm just going to bring another stitch through and just catch that middle bit and bring it down to anchor it nicely. So yeah, I'm just tending to do the French knots, but you can always intersperse some colonial knots amongst the mix. So I'll just work a couple of these slightly darker ones just back into the previous area just to integrate them in. Oh, pricked my finger. Hold the thread down, don't prick your finger and throw everything down, Christine. Okay, and there we go, like that. And then I think that's probably enough with that. I think it'll just hold without even a knot. And then I've got this really lovely dark, and it's this is definitely vintage as well. It's Lantern All Wool Mending Tassel. This does look a little bit, oh no, actually it doesn't look thicker once you get to a single strand. It was two strands sticking together that I was looking at. Take a bit off it. It's a little bit harder to thread. I probably need to do the folding over technique to thread that way, hopefully. Yes. A knot on the end. Tie the knot. And then we'll finish it off with this darker colour at the furthermost shaded edge where the berry is darker and not catching that sun on it. I don't think I've stitched a berry before. Maybe I've done strawberries. Not done a berry with French knots, I don't think. And so we're just going to intersperse this darker colour just on this side of the piece, integrating back a little bit into the previous section. One back into here. Maybe take one back into here. Just did a single loop there so I get a smaller little knot, and I might do one down sort of in this bottom area. Oops, just unthread it. So I think that looks pretty nice. The book then suggests that we add some beads. Now I did grab out my mixed beads, and I've got these sort of purpley ones. I'm just not sure. There might be bluey colour. Oh, there's some bluey coloured ones. That's a purpley bluey colour. Yeah, that might work. Okay, we'll give that a go. I'll just pick out a few more purpley bluey ones. There's a purpley bluey one, I think, or a bluey one. Okay, that's a bluey one. Maybe there are bluey ones in the mix. Otherwise, I'll just grab a couple of purpley ones, because I guess a blackberry has all those sorts of colours. Oh, there's a bluey one. Let's put them on my workbench first, and I'll grab another one. Oh, there's another bluey. Oops, I dropped it. Where did it go? And a few others are sneaking out, but that's all right. Put them back in. Where did that blue one go? There we go. And who else can spot a blue one? There's a blue one down there. Okay, so that's 5. I think we're using 5 in the book. Always good to use an odd number. And then I need to get my nice small beading needle type ones, which might be that one, I think. I'm not sure where my really thin beading needle has gone, unless it's in my... is it hiding out in my needle cushion? I don't think so. Or is it somewhere in here and I just can't see it? Or have I used it in something else and not put it back in? Let's just see if this needle will go through. Yep, they pass through that, so that's good. And I will grab myself a dark blue thread to use, just using a regular cotton here. And I'll put my big needle away. Don't think I tied off on the back, but I can just quickly do that. I don't think these stitches are going anywhere anyway, because they've got knots on the front. Okay, let's thread up our little beading needle. There we go. Thankfully that wasn't too painful. Okay, and then we'll pop through. They've sort of done just the beads in the darker section, so I guess I might do the same. So I'll pop through here, pick up a bead from the table, and then pop it back in and down here. And with beads you can always do 2 if you feel you need to secure them, but that bead sat nicely down into the piece, so I'm going to leave it be. Pick up the second bead. This one's got a greeny bluey colour to it. That's nice. I was originally thinking, oh, maybe I won't do the beads, but I think they're just adding a lovely little effect to the berry. See, it's sometimes good to look at a book, because I probably wouldn't have thought to add beads to my berry if I was doing it myself. I might to a strawberry, because they've got those sorts of like seedy bits, but I guess the blackberries, they do also have that woody bit, because when you eat them you kind of get some that are a little bit woody. Add that one in there. Is that, see, that last bead, you sometimes get a bead that just does not want to play ball, and now it doesn't. I know it will come off my needle, so we'll have to find one more blue bead or purpley bead if we can't find a blue bead. That one looks small as well, actually. I don't think that one's going to be a pain. Oh no, it's not. Sometimes you misjudge a bead and it's actually an okay bead. Okay, so we'll pop that one in there like that, and then I can finish that off on the back, and then we can have a quick little look at it. Turn that off. Because I've got the beads on this thread, I want to anchor it down properly, do an extra knot just for security. Okay, and then that is our little stump work berry. It's very sweet, and you could always, if you were putting it on a piece, you could put a bit of stuffing under it and have it have it sitting up even further from the piece. I do like that. Really great little effect. So thanks so much for watching a slightly longer one at 20 minutes. And I hope you give it a go and let me know. And you can post a picture in our Facebook group if you feel so inclined. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.